Good morning, children. Welcome for today's lecture. Today, I am going to take a new lesson for you. Yesterday, I had taken a poem. I have completed the explanation. I had given you the notes, everything. Now, today's new lesson 3.7. 3.6 notes I have given you, Merchant of Venice. This is 3.7 at the science fair. Oh, isn't it? So, I am going to explain the lesson. Listen carefully. Notes from the workbook on the board is there. See. The science fair at Vidya Vardhini school was always an exciting affair. There were a number of stalls and never less than 50, entertainment booths and one of course refreshments. There were two basic rules. One, everything should be handled by students, and two, everything, even the entertainment booths and refreshment stalls had to have a scientific base. So here it is a science fair, means science exhibition related and dealt with science, or everything will be connected with science. So that is the lesson. So what here it is, the science fair at Vidya Vardhani school was always an exciting affair. Where is the exhibition fair conducted? In Vidya Vardhani school. It's really excited. So there were number of stalls, not less than 50. There were number of stalls. There were two basic rules to follow for the stalls. One, everything should be handled by students, and second, everything, the entertainment booths and refreshment stall have a scientific base. So science fair in Vidya Vardhini school, it was very exciting. Then 2 points had to be followed. First point is that all the students must handle the situation, the science fair. Second is that everything, stalls, experiments, everything should be related with the scientific with subject science. Understood? That is the first paragraph. Second paragraph. Preparations for the fair began at least a couple of months in advance. The first step was brainstorming. The principal invited ideas for the events from students, teachers and even parents. A host of ideas poured in. Luckily, many parents not only contributed ideas but also volunteered to help with the planning and implementation of the big event. So, a committee of parents and teachers was set up to look after all the work of the fair. Some student representatives were also taken on the committee to give them a first-hand experience of managing big program like this. See, now preparations of the fair began. Science fair, it's going to be conducted, and for the preparations for the science exhibition was started a couple of months in advance. A couple means 2 months before the preparations for the science fair had been started. The first step was brainstorming. The first step was very exciting. It was great. The principal invited ideas for the event from student, teachers and even parents. Host of ideas poured in. Principal decided to accept the ideas from parents, teachers and even parents. Students. So when they heard this, different type of ideas started to come. Pour in means started to come. Luckily, many parents not only contributed ideas but also volunteered to help them planning and implementation of the big event. Parents' contribution was great. They not only gave ideas, they themselves came forward with new ideas and tried to implement the ideas too. So, a committee of parents and teachers was set up to look after all the work of fair. Parents and teachers committee was formed to look after all the affairs. Some student representatives were taken on the committee to give them first-hand experience of managing big program like this. Student representatives were also appointed to give them a support. Second paragraph. The committee identified certain themes for the fair. Now certain topics and subjects was given for the fair. What were the subjects depended upon? Plants, animals, properties of substances, energy, forms of energy and energy resources, sources in everyday life, latest news from the world of science and food and nutrition. Regarding these were the topic they had to deal with. Considering the area of the school playground and the estimated turnout, it was decided to allow 56 stalls in the fair. Considering to the space, 56 fairs were allowed to be conducted. The stalls were allotted to as many groups of children. Each group selected an idea or topic for the chosen themes. The committee had to make sure that the topics were not repeated. So each committee, each group, there were many groups, and each group decided their own idea what they are going to represent for the science fair. But it was very important that the same topic must not be repeated again and again in the science fair. The young scientists began their work in earnest. They began by collecting a lot of information about the topic through science textbook, school library, and the internet. So the young scientists started working hard and with great dedication. They collected ideas, they collected information through internet, through their science textbook and school library. They shared and discussed this information in their groups. The next step was to decide the exact activity for this stall. So they shared the ideas, and now what is the activity to be conducted in the stall? Whether they would build and display model, or give a demonstration, or present their project through posters, or simply exhibit a collection. What they are going to do, they had to say. The principal announced that the language, appearance, and content of the presentation were all important. The language teachers helped the young stallholders to make the graphic and oral presentation more effective. So the principal told the students that your language must be thorough, appearance must be good, and the content of the presentation must also be very nicely represented. Then only the viewers will be much impressed. So the language teachers help the young scientists to how to improve their language, how to speak to the parents and to the public. All this were given instructions by the language teachers. So understood this much? So now here I have given the roadboard. All this is from workbook. Write what 2 basic rules were followed in the science fair. Everything should be handled by students. Entertainment and refreshment have to be scientific based. How early did the preparation for science fair begin? Couple of months, means 2 months before in advance. How was the committee formed? A committee of teachers and parents was set up to look after all the work of the fair. Some students' representative was also taken on the committee to give them a first-hand experience of managing big programs. What themes did the committee identify? The themes identified by the committee were plant, animals, properties of substance, energy, science in our everyday life, latest news from the world of science, and food and nutrition. How did the students prepare? Stalls were allowed to many groups. Children, each group selected a topic from chosen. Young scientists began collecting a lot of information. Science textbook, school library, they shared the group and decided exact activity for the stall, deciding whether they would build and display model. So this is the note. Copy it in your workbook. Read the lesson properly, because small meanings and sentence making I'll give after this lesson is over. So read the lesson nicely, then only you will be able to understand the lesson. Okay, so with the continuation I'll be coming in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Thank you.